So the system is called ECOSID, okay, which stands for Availability Information System for Organic Production. And let me, okay, go. Okay, so the second slide is ECOSID legal grounds in the regulation. This is the title. I hope you can see. In case you cannot see this second slide, just let me know. Because I mean, I don't know what's the reason why, but sometimes when you go from one slide to another, the screen is frozen. So what are the legal grounds of this voluntary system that we have developed? As well, as you are very aware of it, is Article 26 regarding the availability on the market of organic and in conversion plant reproductive material, animal or organic materials, I would say, and organic juveniles. So in particular, if you go to point number 2, you see here that member states, we all have to have systems in place that allow operators, suppliers of these organic materials or in conversion materials to make public on voluntary basis the materials they have. Okay, this has to be free of charge, and there is certain specific data that can be shown in the systems, and this is going beyond their names and their contact details, but has to go into the specific materials they're offering, what type of material, what is the lot number, what is the availability date, so on and so forth. So we have to build this system, so that it can hold all this information that is needed. And well, the other points of this article refer to the other materials that I mentioned to you, and it's important to keep in mind point number 4. Okay, this means that the operators, the suppliers of these materials that want to include information, on this plant reproductive material, they have to be sure that this information is updated regularly, okay, and that the information is withdrawn from this system, from the lists of this available material once the material is no longer available. So this means this is important to keep in mind, that is not about putting in information, but it's also about pulling out the information when this material is no longer available. So this means that the suppliers, they have to interact with the system, on a proactive base or on proactive basis. And this is important to know, because we cannot show material that is no longer available. If we do that, then the system, won't have any kind of, let's say, usefulness. So it is very important for the suppliers to keep updating the information. This means uploading the new information and erasing the old information that is of no use. So for this end, then I jump into the third slide. If there is any problem with showing this slide, please let me know. So having these articles in mind, we decided on how to implement this system, this voluntary system. And this is, let's say, a graph that simplifies the work we've been doing for the last 2 years. And this means that first of all, the supplier of this, the operator, that has this material and wants to showcase this material in the system, has to request to publish this availability to the certifier, okay, to the control body or to the control authority. Here in Spain, we have both, depending on the autonomous communities, which are the regions. Depending on the regions, we may have control bodies or we may have a control authority. This is the certifier. So the supplier has to request to publish the availability. And then the certifier, what does at this moment is to check that the information that supplier has uploaded into the system is reliable, okay? So once it's reliable, then the certifier has to request for the authorization to publish the availability to the competent authority. The competent authority in Spain are the regional governments, okay? In Spain, we have 17 regional governments, so we have 17 competent authorities, and that could receive these requests for publication of availability, from the certifier, that the certifier itself has received the information from the supplier. So once the competent authority checks the information and is reliable, then the publication of this material is these seeds are, let's say, allowed within the ECOSID system. This is what the MAPA comes from. MAPA is the Ministry of Agriculture, Fishery and Food. Okay, so the competent authority checks the box that the information is reliable, that is okay, and at that very moment, the information is made public. Okay, so what is the role of the MAPA, of the ministry in all this? So you can see here the roles we have at the top right of the screen. So we are the ones establishing the ECOSID, the system, the voluntary system, who are the ones that coordinate the from I would say from different roles that we have, we can coordinate the implementation and the good dynamics of the database or this voluntary system. Okay. So we also have a technical support in case there are technical issues, technical problems with this voluntary system, and we are the ones responsible for the publication of this material, according to the basic regulation. So we have to be sure that the materials, that are going to be published are reliable 100%. So we also have to build a report that is sent to the Commission, and we are also feeding the system with these new varieties or breeds that come up every year. So this is the way, okay, to publish the information, and the way to participate within the system. It is in this case, it is the ministry that signs up the competent authorities, the 17 competent authorities with with the managers that are going to be responsible for checking the information from the certifiers. Then the competent authorities, which are these regional governments, have to sign up the different certifiers that operate in their corresponding territory. It might be one, which could be the control authority, or it might be 10 control bodies working in this specific territory. And then the certifier is the one to sign up the supplier. Okay, this means that any supplier of material has been, uploaded by the certifier. So this is the way we can be sure that the supplier that is about to show the materials they have, okay, it is under an organic certified scheme. So how can we upload data in ECOSID from, how the supplier uploads the data? It can be done according to two ways. The supplier can upload the information directly on the screen. I would say it's user-friendly, how to type in the information. It's just a few fields with the information they're asking for. And also it can use an Excel file, okay? In case we have some large providers or suppliers in Spain, so they can upload the information of hundreds of seeds with just one click, uploading this Excel file. And also, this is for Article 26.2, okay, of the basic regulation. But as you know, we also have Article 26.1, in which the competent authorities, have to elaborate also a report on the availability of seeds or plant reproductive material. And once more, the competent authority can use the screen or they can use an Excel file. So it's, I would say it's very simple to upload the information, in particular with these Excel files. Once you have the template, it can be downloaded directly from ECOSID. Just fill in the template and just by one click, it can upload the information. So we made it as I would say, as simple as possible for everyone. Okay, so this is what I, wanted to show to you is the public consultation module that is within our website. You can see here the link, the URL. You can click there and go directly to the public consultation. So this is the public consultation website in the website of the ministry. You can search for what we call material vegetal de reproducción ecológico. This is organic plant reproduction material. Or you can search for, you say down, animales de ganadería ecológica, which means organic animals. In particular, for the plant reproductive material, there are several fields in which you can use for your search. You can search the proveedor. The proveedor is a supplier. And you see here that we have the names of all the suppliers that are uploading information on the availability of their materials. You can also search by species. Okay, all the species are uploaded, so in case you're interested in any particular species. You can also search for the information on what we call grupo. This means the type of crop. You can also search for material, one specific material, in case you're searching for organic seeds, or you're searching for in-conversion seeds, or you might be searching for this heterogeneous organic material that is new to everyone. So you can do your search depending on the type of material you're looking for. You can also search for, or search by country, because ECOSID, it is a national voluntary system for organic material suppliers, but it can be, used by organic suppliers in Spain, or Spanish organic suppliers, or it can be used by organic suppliers from other member states. Okay, you can upload the information if you're an organic supplier in, I don't know, Belgium, Denmark, Germany, and in this case, it is important that you have the phytosanitary certificate in this. Okay, because before showcasting any availability of any material, there are two conditions. First is that there's a phytosanitary certificate on this material, and the second is that there is an organic certificate in this material. You need to fulfill with both conditions. And also this is a free text field in which you can, for instance, look for a specific variety of, in this case, tomato, which is 𝐀𝐿. I just made just a brief example. So you look for this species that you're looking for, and it seems that there are, two possible suppliers, and then you click on any of these suppliers, and then you get the information, the contact information of this specific supplier. Okay. From here, there is nothing more we can do now. It's the time for the operator and the supplier to get into business. This is how the system works. It's very easy. Definitely, this is how in principle, we designed the system to be very simple for everyone, to perform search and look for the right material in order to try to foster the use of organic materials within organic production. Okay. And I also made one last slide because yesterday we were discussing with Ilsa and Freya, about the difference between availability and derogations. And this, so I decided to be a bit proactive. Before any questions, are raised, is that ECOSID, this system, is meant for availability. It's not meant for derogations. Okay, so the system is meant for organic materials, either if it's a plant reproductive material, an animal, or a juvenile. It's organic materials. So this is just to let you know that ECOSID does not include derogations of conventional material for use in organic production. The derogations, as you may know, are uploaded in the Organic Farming Information System of the Commission Office. Okay, we use those templates and then we upload the information. There is, let's say, one specific obligation for member states, to publish the list of two specific derogations. Okay, we have, I would say, tens of derogations, but we have to publish two specific derogations. Which are these ones, the one related to varieties or species in which derogations cannot be granted. Okay, this is 1856, and then we have the derogations for, let's say, general derogations for the use of specific species or varieties in a specific territory. Okay, so it is instead of being an individual derogation, it's a general derogation for a species, in which I guess that if there is a general derogation, is because there might be no possibility to have access to organic material. So for these two, let's say, derogation, you have here the there is a list that we're publishing in the website of the ministry, and it is the same let's say URL in which you can consult ECOSID. At the bottom of the page, you can consult. You see here the listado de material vegetal. Puntos 1856, 1857. This is an Excel file containing the derogations for these two specific issues. There are just a few derogations, so you can download the information there if you want. And the rest of the derogations are not part of, let's say, well, none of the derogation is part of ECOSID, but the rest of the derogations cannot be, let's say, made public. This is an information that is being handled by the Commission. And I think that is all. I just wanted to say in my language, thank you all for being here with us, and I'll be happy to answer any questions regarding, how the system works. And I think, Ilsa, that's it from my side.
Great. Thank you very much, Miguel, for this presentation. I see that there's some questions in the chat and also some hands raised. So maybe we can start with the chat. There's a question from Morten Petersen on how do you report the amount of organic seed offered in Spain to the EU?
How do we report? I mean, the report, it is in the ECOSID system, okay? So you can consult the entire amount of organic seeds offered in Spain using ECOSID. And how do we report this to the Commission is using specific templates that were agreed in the COP-GREX meeting. And we then have a module within the ECOSID system, is an automatic module that can create this report, these templates that the Commission asks for every year before the end of June. In fact, we sent this information recently to the Commission. So there is a template, and ECOSID is able to automatically create this template.
Okay, I hope that answers your question, Morten. Then we have another question from Alexander Meyer. How does Spain evaluate the availability of organic seed in the organic expert group? And in case of availabilities in ECOSID, on which basis do you categorize the mandatory or optional use of organic seed?
Well, the way it works is very simple. It is a procedure that is within the EU regulations, and in particular within the our regulation, what we call the basic regulation in organic production. And this means that the competent authority, before granting any derogation, they have to consult the database, the system, to confirm that there is no organic material. And this is what they're doing. Okay, whenever they consult the system and there is organic material for whatever species or whatever variety, then the derogation is not granted.
Okay, thank you. Maybe we can now go to the hand raised and then we can switch back to the chat. So Maria, if you want to ask your question, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, I have a couple of questions. The first, I think it has already kind of half been answered. I just wanted to confirm. So for the derogations, you are basing your decision on the ECOSID database. That's the legal background for your decisions. Is that correct for derogations? And my other question is more about the ECOSID database itself. I would be curious to know if a lot of suppliers are also listing in conversion material or are listing OHM, or are they more listing seeds and that are reproductive material that is organic and not in conversion. And also, I would like to know if it's also possible to filter for varieties that have been bred specifically for organic production, or is that not possible? Thank you.
Yeah, let me see if I understood. Well, maybe for the last question, the sound was not really the best, but let me see if I understood well. Otherwise, maybe you will have to repeat the third question. Yes, so for the first question for derogations, in Spain, derogations are the competence of competent authority, okay, the regional governments, what we call the autonomous communities. So they have, let's say, their own way before granting any derogation to confirm that there is no organic material. Okay, what we do here in Spain from the ministry is to reinforce a common procedure to ensure that there is a common procedure for all 17 territories on how to confirm that there is no organic material. And this means that within this, procedure, ECOSID has, I would say, a main role, okay, a predominant role, being, probably one of the, let's say, most important sources of organic material. But this is not the only one, okay. We have to think that the ECOSID, these systems are voluntary on basis. So it might be organic seeds for species and for varieties that are not listed here in ECOSID, because as I said before, this is on voluntary basis. So what the organic competent authorities do is they usually go beyond ECOSID, and they consult, directly their own databases, so they, may get in contact with providers of specific materials that they know that, in the past they had. So it is ECOSID is a legal ground of, for competent authorities for granting derogation. I would say it is probably one of the best tools and instruments that competent authorities have. Okay, more than, I wouldn't say legal background, but important tool. But this is not the only one. So going into suppliers of organic or in conversion material, I can definitely say that right now we have more than 900 lots of seeds being, publicly showcased in ECOSID, and I tend to believe that 99% of them are organic seeds. And for the third question, I might ask you, Maria, because the sound was not so good, that maybe you could repeat, because I think I have an idea, but just to be sure, okay, not to provide you with answers that are of no use to you, Maria.
Thank you so much. The question relates to the fact that the organic regulation foresees that there can be varieties that have specifically been bred to be used in organic production. And I was wondering whether it's possible to filter for such varieties in your system or not.
Yes, definitely. Yes, we have one of the, let's say, material type. It is these organic varieties. So far, we don't have anyone, but the system, has been built to include these organic varieties, and we hope that these organic varieties will come soon into, the market.
Okay, thank you for the question and the answer. There is no follow-up question, Maria. That's okay. Then I still see some questions in the chat. So there's one from Ineta Jacobsone, which is, are basic category seeds also entered in the organic seed database or only certified category seeds? Because if basic category seeds are entered, does that mean farmers cannot get permission to buy conventional seeds while basic category seeds are in the database? If the question is not clear, maybe the person can also ask it while unmiking, if that
No, I think it's clear. I think it's clear. Don't worry. Well, we showcase organic seeds, organic materials. Okay, some of these organic materials may have different categories. In fact, whenever you're uploading the information on these seeds, there is one specific field in which you can say, or you can type in what type of category is your seed. Okay, so definitely yes, you can showcase different categories of seeds as long as they are organic.
Okay, thank you. I hope that answers the question. I have another question from Melanie Molnar, which is, are the quantities of derogated seeds also made public in the derogation list? about the quantities?
Well, as I mentioned before, ECOSID is about availability. We're not, showcasing anything or providing any data about, derogations for the use of conventional seeds in organic production. This is not part of the ECOSID. I mentioned these particular lists, okay, for these 2 points, 1.856 and 1.857, because we member states have the obligation to publish the list, okay, of these 2 particular derogations, and you can consult this list in our webpage. And well, I can send you if you want. Let me do that for you. I will send you the link in which you can consult. Okay, you can consult both ECOSID, okay, for availability of organic materials, and also you can consult the list of these 2 specific derogations. I hope this is useful for you.
Okay, thank you for the answer and for the link. There's another question from Freya.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. As the database you're presenting shows the availability, and you have been in the section of the organic section since 4 years, can you see any progress in the supply of organic seed for the different crops, or can you identify one certain crop where you see a sufficient supply of organic seed that you could phase out the use of organic seed, a non-organic seed, or if not, what could be the reasons why there is a lack of progress?
Well, ECOSID is being implemented, for the past 2 years, so we can, have some reflections or some thoughts on what has happened in these past 2 years. And what I can say is, yes, definitely there is an increase on the providers, and there is an increase on the seed lots or seed batches that are being offered, in the system. And so everything we haven't quantified this yet, but in terms of, qualify the offer, the dynamics of this offer in the past 2 years, I can say yes, we have more providers of supplies, and yes, we do have much more lots of organic seeds being offered in the system. But it's just 2 years, of track, so we haven't made any analysis on this particular issue. I think we will need, at least another 2 years and start to do some statistics on, the plant reproductive materials that is being sown in the system, and also try to have some insights on the use of this platform from, let's say, both ends, the supplier and the organic operator. But for that, Freya, I'm afraid that we will need to have, more time and try to get some numbers later in time.
One further question: do you have any incentives or measures or provisions in mind to foster the development of the organic seed sector in Spain?
Well, here in Spain, we have one Directorate General, which is devoted to rural development, okay? And they're managing part of the Common Agricultural Policy funds. And as far as I know, for this new period, which goes from 2022 to 2023 to 2027, I think there is an important amount of money. We're talking about around 800 million that will be devoted to the organic sector through this, Directorate General for Organic Production. And this is definitely, funds that will be implemented on, different, I would say, organic production programs, projects, initiatives, activities. And definitely, I mean, I guess that some of them will be about organic seeds. Unfortunately, I don't work for this Director General, but I can assure you that there is, a specific chapter in Spain, funded by the Common Agricultural Practices, that will devote important funds for the organic sector. And that, I guess, that probably includes, incentives for organic seeds projects or programs. But I'm not aware of any particular thing, because I mean, I just don't work in that area. Sorry.
Okay, thank you for the answer. I see one more hand raised. I think then we also have to go to the next presentation from 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐔𝐓. Please, you can ask your question.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to ask, is there any kind of a system already being set or a process set to enforce or to obligate use of only organic seeds for certain crops? I know, as you said, it's just 2 years since you have implemented this whole system, but has there been any request, or are you thinking in this direction that that there is a probability of implementing a system to make mandatory use of certain crops, depending on if you have enough availability?
I'm sorry to tell you this, but I lost connection. So let me switch off the camera to see if I can get more or a better connection. If you could please pose your question again. I think it was about obligation.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay. I just switched
perfect.
off my camera to see if I can get more bandwidth.
Yeah, no, I was saying that do you have any kind of a system or process in place to implement mandatory use of organic seeds for certain crops? Of course, it depends on if you have enough seed available, but are you thinking in this direction of implementing some kind of a process in there?
Yes, I think I got your question on that. No, the answer will be no. You know that in terms of organic production, the legislation, in this case, we're talking about regulations, do come from the European institutions. And so we don't really plan to, let's say, for the time being, to be or to implement measures on the top of the measures that the Commission is being implemented through these the regulations. So particularly, I'm not really aware of any, program for a mandatory use of organic materials. I'm not aware of this, and I don't know if all the countries might be involved in this mandatory use, or the member states. I mean, here we have representatives from different member states. Maybe they can explain their specific cases if they're doing something on this direction. I believe that for the time being, our role, as a member state of the European Union, here in Spain, our role is to incentivize the use of this organic material and to foster this use. Okay. And we are all, involved in this issue that we have to help, the providers or the suppliers of these materials to reach into the market and help them to commercialize their organic materials. And in fact, ECOSID, I would say, is the flagship of this concern here that we have in Spain to increase the use of organic materials. But as I said before, this is on voluntary basis, and we are more on the fostering of the use of organic materials than on the mandatory use of organic materials. I think we are more on the idea that we have to go in a soft way to convince the operators to look for these materials and also to assist the providers to showcase their availability.
Thank you, Miguel, for the answer. I see that we're 10 minutes already behind schedule, but I think there's maybe one more important question in the chat, and if you could maybe answer it really shortly, and then we go to the next point in the agenda. So the question is if the ECOSID tool is evaluated by the Spanish organic seed sector expert group, or if there is an expert group in Spain in place, and if they evaluate the tool. Very short answer.
Yes, I'm not aware there is an organic seed expert group here in Spain. I'm not aware of that.
Okay, that's a clear and short answer. Thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation. And then I think we go to the next speaker, who is 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐕𝐄𝐄𝐃 from 𝐕𝐄𝐒, Germany, who will present the OrganicXseeds tool and how it can be adapted to the national needs. So please, Kaya, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ilse. Give me a moment to share my screen. Okay, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. So my name is 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐕𝐄𝐄𝐃. I work for 𝐕𝐄𝐒, Germany. That's the Research Institute for Organic Agriculture. And there I'm mostly working related to topics to organic seeds and organic plant breeding. So my main task is actually managing the OrganicXseeds database as well as the router database, which I will present later on in the agenda. We also have a database for organic animals that is called OrganicXlivestock. So now I just shortly want to present you the main features of the OrganicXseeds database, as well as some challenges that we have that we're working on. So first of all, we have 12 countries using the OrganicXseeds database. So Netherlands and Lithuania just joined us last year. So OrganicXseeds is a national database, which is mandatory for each EU member state to have such a database, and it displays the availability of organic plant reproductive material at national level. So this database is used by farmers to search for what is available, and they can also directly use the database to request derogations in case of non-availability. Those derogation requests are then sent to the authorities or the inspection bodies, so whoever is responsible for this task, and they directly process the derogation request also in the database based on the availability indicated. So the availability indicated in the database is really the legal basis also for granting then those derogation requests. We as 𝐕𝐄𝐒, we are the administrators of the database, so we support in any technical issues, and we help set up the database depending on EU requirements, of course, but also national requirements. And the authorities who use our database, they pay yearly user fees. So now the question, how do the offers come into the database? For that, we're using the router database as a tool, which I will, as I said, I will explain more in detail later in the agenda. just now that you see we get all the data on availability through an automated programming interface from the router database. So there's an interface between the two databases that ensures that there's a direct and automatic data transmission. Now, I just want to give you a small sneak peek of how the database looks like. I took those screenshots from our demo database. So not all the data indicated here is valid. For that, you need to look at the live databases. So when an authority approaches us and wants to use our database, we set it up in communication together with the authority. We send some documents to fill out. So for instance, here on the page, the authority can choose how they want to fill the content of the content pages, informing, for instance, farmers about the EU regulation, but also national regulations. And they can also use the database as a depository for no derogation species or other derogation reports as well. So when afterwards the authority needs to communicate the report to the Commission, they can indicate just a link to the database where then, for instance, the no derogation species can be listed. Then there's different search functions, and those search functions, they're also publicly available to everybody. So you can search by species, you can search directly by variety. You can also search for categories. So for instance, if you want to see all the offers of cereal species, you can search here in the category search, and you can also directly search for a certain supplier. Yes, and then you can log in as a farmer or as an authority or an inspection body to access further functions. That is mostly the derogation functions. So here just as an example, I searched for potato, and then I will find all the offers that are available for potatoes. And this grouping of potato into species group can be done on national level. So each authority can decide how they want, or if and how they want to group a species. And each of these species, they can also give a different classification. So for instance, if there's a high availability in early potatoes, they could give it a category 1. If there's a lower availability in later maturing potatoes, they could give it, put it on category 2, individual derogation. As I said, this is just a screenshot from the demo page, so this is not the actual availability, just an imaginary case. Yes, another feature that we have is that we can also view past offers, which might be interesting to search for the availability a few months ago. And there's also the possibility of placing offers that are currently not available, but are available at a later date. And then they will automatically be put as available at that specific date. So now, for instance, if I click on the species group, I see the varieties that are available in this species group. You see which type of material it is, and also which status. So there's the possibility of putting also in conversion material into the database. And then if you click on the name of the supplier, you get the contact details to contact the supplier and make a purchase. There's also the possibility of getting approved for in-conversion material by clicking here on this button. So now I'm logged in. And if you're logged in, you have the possibility as a farmer to send a derogation request. So then next to the species group, you will find a button to access the derogation form. And in the derogation form, the availability of that species group is automatically shown. So when the authority or the inspection body receives the request, they automatically see what is available. So if the farmer in this case, for instance, requests to use a non-organic material of the variety Apollo, the authority or inspection body will see available, and the derogation request cannot be granted. And this derogation process also differs if the classification is on single derogation, category 1, or general derogation, because for a general derogation, just a documentation is necessary, and the authority or inspection body does not actively need to approve it. And then we can generate with these information a derogation report. And in the derogation report, you will then find all the information for individual derogation, general derogation, data authorization, and as well as no derogation species. And you see here which information are indicated in the derogation report. So we have, for instance, here the categorization, we have the species group, we have the type of derogation, so that refers here to the paragraph of the regulation. We have the quantity, and also the area is optional. So with the new organic regulation, we are facing some challenges because the OrganicXseeds database is already 10 years old and was originally designed for seeds. But now with the new regulation, all kinds of different organic plant reproductive material should be in the database. So cuttings, scions, bulbs, tubers, and so on. And at the moment, there's no clear distinction between those different qualities. We have to adapt the terminology and create a more flexible database structure, and also selection options that are adapted to those different kind of materials. So that is why we now decided to do a relaunch of the database that hopefully will go live end of 2025. Where we want to have this clear distinction between the different qualities, have a more flexible database where we can more easily ask for species-specific requirements in the derogation request forms, for instance. And also have a bigger flexibility, because we see that on top of the EU regulation, there might be also some national requirements that need to be displayed in such a database. And also we are adapting the database to have a better reporting that is more closely adapted to the Commission template that hopefully is now finalized, so that we know which information need to be provided to the European Commission. And all of this, of course, we still need to have a user-friendly and practice-oriented database. So this is a bit the challenge, to display as much as information while keeping it easily manageable by all the users of the database. Yes, this was already my presentation, and now I'm happy to answer your questions. I will stop sharing my screen so that I can see you.
So thank you, Kaya, for the presentation. I'm taking up the first question from the chat, and if there are further questions, please put it into the chat or raise your hands. So there's one question from David, and the question is, thank you, Kaya. Is it only up to the seed companies to complete the website, like a voluntary contribution?
So to the seed companies, they use the router database, which I will also explain later. And yes, it's voluntary to use the router database as a seed company and place your offers.
And to update the offers, not.
That is if they use the router database, it's mandatory to keep the offer up to date, and they're also regularly reminded to do so. And then if they don't confirm that the offer is still up to date, it will also automatically be archived, so that we avoid that there's too many entries that of offers that are actually not available anymore. Yes.
Okay. Any further questions? No, not for the moment. Okay, thank you. So we can go on with Angela Thüringer. Thank you very much for participating. We can speed up a bit.
Yes, hello. I will share my screen with you. So, hello, my name is Angela Thüringer, and I work at the Austrian Agency for Health and Food Security in the Department for Seed Testing in the Seed Health Testing Laboratory. Me and my colleagues Miriam Lechner and Ernestina Lippert, we maintain the organic plant reproduction material database in Austria, and I will give you a short introduction how to use it. So our organic plant reproductive material database is based on the OrganicXseed database which we had before, and changed into the OPRM database with the new European regulation in 2018-848. And now it is available to the public free of charge, because before submitters had to pay a little fee to upload data, but now it's free. You find our database on our website. There is also an English version, and there are two pathways to find it on our website. Either you scroll down on the front page and find it under popular services, or you go via the menu to plant, seeds and seedlings, and then you find the database there. So this is our database mask, how it looks like. There is an index with topics related to the database, and then there is a search field where you can directly search for cultures or varieties. And then there are the different cultures. They have different, or they are categorized in different cultures. And then you can click directly on the culture and go further into the detail. I have to say, for the database search, it works fine in German, but in English, it's okay if you search for varieties, but the species, unfortunately, are listed in German as well, so it's not translated yet. So this is how it looks like if you go to winter culture, for example. I can also show you on my on the website directly. So if I go to winter cultures, then I see that all the cultures are selected. Oh wait, I have to change to English, I'm sorry. So this is the English website. So all the cultures or species are selected. If you only search for a special species, you can push the button below, and then all species are unselected. And then if you want to search for winter spelt, for example, then you can choose only the one you're searching for and press search. And then you will get a list with all the winter spelt species and varieties. And then you can choose another filter by searching only for a variety or for an organic status. Bio is organic, and then there would be another status in conversion, which is Umsteller in German. But for Dinkel, there is no in conversion available, and that's why there is no selection possible. But if I select everything, then I see that there is a in conversion lot, and it is winter wheat. And the only help maybe is that you also have the Latin name behind. So if you are not sure if it's the right species, then you can also look up the Latin name. And then in the row, you see the variety and the supplier who is supplying the seeds. You see the lot number, the amount of the seeds which were registered or certified, if the seeds are available, and the status of the seeds. And if I go back to the selection for all the available varieties for spelt, then there you see a list. And for some varieties, there is only one lot, and for some varieties, there are 2 or more lots, and then you see the sum of available seeds in total. And then you can also choose only show available varieties if this is a help. Then I go back to my presentation. And if you push on the selected variety or the selected lot, then you see more detailed information, which category it is, and the organic inspection code, the amount, since when it is available, and also the contact details of the supplier. This is how it looks like if a variety is sold out. So the availability is set to a special date, and beneath it says sold out. So this variety was sold out on the 7th February 24, and no seeds of this variety are left. It could have been that another supplier has the same variety, then maybe this would have been available. But in this case, all the seeds are sold out. And here again is the status in conversion. So the possibilities how the seeds or how the material is uploaded to our database, there are more pathways. For organic seeds, the positively certified seed lots, which the Federal Office for Food Safety certifies, they are uploaded automatically to the database because we are testing the seeds for seed certification in-house. So we have the data in our computer system, and if the Federal Office for Food Safety says, okay, the seed lot is good for certification, then it gets uploaded automatically. And the second way is that seed suppliers or traders send us an email with the necessary information which we need, either for seeds from other countries or seeds that are not regulated in our seed legislation. Then we will prove if the seeds are organic produced, and also if it's a registered variety. This is very important. And then if everything is fine, then we upload it manually. Then I just wanted to show you where to find the necessary information. So for us, it is important. Under point 2 of registration. So for us, it's important the contact details of the applicant, the crop type, variety, batch number, the available kilograms, the control number, and other information, which seems a lot in this list, but actually a picture of the label and with the organic seed, organic control number, and the contact details of the supplier are enough to upload the material to the database. So then for the plant propagation material, there is an Excel form to fill. It is a form an empty form uploaded on the website. And if the form is filled out, then it has to be sent to our email address. And if it's fine, we upload it. And if some information is missing, then we request more information. And this is how the form looks like. On top, it's German and English. So species group, for example, plant propagation material, then we need the species like sweet potato, the species in Latin, the variety, the submitter, the ID lot number, if there is one, because for plant propagation material, there is not always one. The organic control authority code and some other details, which is not too complicated, and also maybe an email address and website. The non-availability of varieties has to be reported to us via email, because for individual derogations, it's always important to have the current available status of the seeds, and if they are not available, and then it's legally bonded. So if our website says the seeds are still available, the farmer won't get an individual derogation. So it is important that our website is up to date. So, but we are dependent on the suppliers that they inform us. The organic seeds are automatically deleted from the website at a selected deadline, so that only the current available seeds are shown, so that not seeds from 3 years ago are online. We take out the summer cultures on the 1st of November in the same year, and the winter cultures on the 1st of February in the following year. We also report annually to the European Commission our general derogation list and our availability list. So that's the category 1 species and our individual derogations. The seed database is not connected to the derogations, but we make these reports, we work on these reports, so that's why it's also on this connected to this database. I can show you the list of our general derogations. You find it also on the database website under general exemptions and availability list. So it is in German again, but the species are named in Latin in the back, so everybody should understand it when they translate it to their language. It's a very long list. Before the new European regulation, it was a bit shorter, but yeah. And for vegetables, there is a special regulation. If a variety is available on our database, then organic seeds have to be used. If the variety is marked as sold out on our database, then the farmer has to apply for an individual derogation. And if the variety he wants to use is not on the database and has not been there before, then the general derogation is used, and he doesn't have to apply for a derogation. So this is a special regulation for vegetables, and for non-vegetables or for all other seeds that are listed on our database and are not listed on this list, have to be used organic seeds. So it's legally bonded. You have to use organic seeds if there is enough seeds on a database. So I go back. Yeah, and our individual derogation form, because somebody asked before, you can look at, it's also in German, but you see the amounts listed for each culture and also for each variety. So our challenges, we use this database or this kind of database for more than 10 years already. And we noticed by preparing this presentation that the English version is not 100% user-friendly. But I asked, and currently there is no budget for translation, but we will keep in mind that if some time will come, we will complete this. Then the correctness of availability of our website or of the seeds on our website depends on the notification from submitters, and this is not always sufficient. Then the available weight, which is shown on our website, is often confusing because it is the weight when the lot is registered, and it's not updated if the suppliers sell seeds. So it stays, the lot weight stays until it's sold out, and farmers are confused because they think it's the available amount. This is not ideal, but yeah, we haven't found a better solution until now. It's also not always easy to receive sufficient proof for the organic material. And our availability list could be improved because until now it's empty. But our organic committee in Austria couldn't find an agreement until now. And this is also why I have the question for a discussion, how other countries could convince the control authorities, seed companies, and other involved bodies to add species and varieties to their availability list, because in Austria, there is too much fear that farmers are restricted, that they won't have enough possibilities to choose different varieties, and then maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. We tried different options and we made a lot of different suggestions, but we couldn't find a solution. So maybe this is a place where this could be discussed. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to have some questions.
Thank you very much, Angela, for this presentation. I see already a hand raised by Morten Petersen. Please, you can ask your question.
Hello. It's just a comment to the last thing you said, or the last slide, because I think in Denmark we have kind of the opposite problem, because we have for some species an enormous amount of organic seeds in the database, but none of them are useful for commercial production.
Okay.
Everybody think that entering their material into OrganicXseeds, as we use, is kind of a catalog to expose or exhibit their products for sale, and sometimes we even get the impression that they think that we must enter them there, and then the authority will force the organic farmers to use our seeds, and that's not the case. So it's kind of difficult to navigate in all these materials sometimes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's interesting. Yeah. But are these registered varieties?
Registered varieties. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know quite what you mean about that, because in our authority, it's another department that takes care of this. But no, mostly it's open pollinated seeds, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for the question. There's one also from Freya.
Yes, thank you for this presentation, this very interesting presentation. Maybe I can report back from Germany. Maybe someone can complete. In the expert group, we try to evaluate the different, let's say, production needs for the farmers in the different regions. And we have very good, let's say, progress with creating subgroups, or for instance, ripening groups in maize. So we put certain ripening groups where we see a sufficient supply on category 1, and maybe some certain ripening groups or subgroups like cherry tomato or something like where the supply is not sufficient, they still stay on category 2, but for a certain crop group, and this could be a subgroup, this then will be on category 1. And yeah, maybe this is also an approach used by France. I don't know if France has a different attempt. That would be very interesting, maybe. Antoine, are you still there?
Yeah. Sorry, I missed a part. You talk about expert group, yes, we have 3 kind of expert group, for vegetable, for field culture, and forage crop. Yes, we examine one by one the crops that we can put in category 1 or stay in category 2. The experts, they come from the seed industry, so they can program the multiplication of the seed with the derogation. We can say yes, it's going to be this seed is going to go on category 1, so they can program some multiplication of seed. And so it's we try to progress together.
Yeah, we also tried this approach. We said we already differentiated also on our website. If you look, winter wheat has 3 categories. Maize has different categories, subcategories, soybean and barley, because we also had this approach, okay, maybe we can make groups, and then we say, okay, we have enough of group soybean 000 with a white or with a light label. And yeah, we tried different approaches, but I am not sure why the seed producers are against it, and why especially the control authority bodies are against it. They think they will have more work with it.
Yes, it's a lot of time it's difficult when you add a change. And I know I'm not in this position since a very long time. So, but at the beginning, it's always difficult. We have the same problem now for the plant, for the plant for the tree, the wine plant, and actually it's it's very difficult to make them accept that they have to use it in organic. So we are in this. It's very difficult, for the plant actually now. But.
And also we have an expert group, and then the expert group, okay, thinks they have a solution, and then this solution gets presented to another organic committee, which is 1 step over us, and
yes,
then they will dismiss it again, and say, no, this is not working for us.
Okay. Yes, for us it's quite easier, the expert group, the other commission always agree on the expert group. So
okay, no, then it's easier.
Yes, that's quite easier.
But thank you for your input.
You're welcome.
Kaya, you have a question?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to also report from Germany. As Freya already said, we have 3 seed expert groups with representatives from suppliers, authorities, control bodies. And we as administrators of the database present the statistics or the availability of the data, what is in the database in those expert groups, and then they can decide on recategorization of certain species. However, they always decided for the following year, and then if there's a recategorization, we also inform on our database so that farmers know, okay, in the next year a certain species will be on category 1, for instance. And also, if we have a category 1 for a species, we observe the availability so that in case of shortages, we can react and put it back onto an individual, so category 2, individual derogation, so that, yeah, we are also in our category 1, we are a bit flexible to react in case of shortages, so that, of course, there's always enough material for the farmers.
Okay, but then does it even make sense to put it on the category 1 list? If it's not available, then anyway it comes back to category 2?
I mean, this is only then in exceptional cases of,
Okay.
for instance, there was a harvest failure,
Okay.
or like also with the war in Ukraine, we could see that there were some sudden shortages in certain species that normally are available. But then
Okay.
also after this, we will put it back onto category 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for the addition. Maybe a question from Melanie.
Yeah, it's not so much a question, it's more an addition. As I'm also part of the expert group in Germany for vegetables, but we are also, as we are a Dutch seed supplier, we're also linked to the Dutch system. I think actually, if you go through the whole process of discussions of putting crops in category 1, or just subgroups of it, it's actually easier for the authorities in the end, because yeah, you have category 1 and there's no huge discussion about whether derogation is granted or not. I think the only important thing is that you are flexible in cases of an existential crisis for the crop, like a breakthrough in resistances, and suddenly the crops available on the list are not suitable anymore. Then you have to be flexible enough to grant a derogation. But usually in Germany and in the Netherlands, and I think also in France, those kind of systems are in place. And if you react fast, then it's not usually a huge deal to put things on Annex 1.
And is it better to put single varieties on it, or culture groups, or what do you prefer?
I would suggest crop groups. But that should be up to you how you will set it up, because yeah, it has to fit in your growth scheme.
Yeah, because we made the suggestion to the expert group, well, okay, we will say like 1 crop group, and if there are less than 3 or 5 varieties available from the same group, then they get an individual derogation, and if not, they have to use the organic seed. Maybe this was a fail, the problem, that then, because then they said, well, then we always have to check if there are 3 or 5 varieties available, and if not, they get the derogation, and if it's available, they won't get the derogation. Maybe that was too complicated, maybe. But on the other hand, when we say, okay, this whole group is on the category 1 list, then the seed companies, or the farmer, the responsible people for the farmers said, well, then the farmers don't have enough opportunities, and maybe it doesn't fit in the region. And we are a small country, but still we have a lot of different regions. And so I think it's interesting that in Germany you select between different regions, which varieties fit to which region. But for us, I think it seems a lot of work to look at each region and look which varieties fits to this region, and then make a category list for each region in Austria. It seems very complicated.
Or you go by season and say this is suitable for spring, for autumn, something like this.
Yeah, anyway, we have wheat crops or winter crops and summer crops differently. So yeah, and also it depends on the year. I think if the variety is better or not so good.
For vegetable, for us we have some segmentation, more and more complicated. So we have from the precocity and for the resistance, and then the hybrid, the F1, and the population, and then sometime we are trying to put some segment in category 1. So that's this precocity with this resistance, or without the resistance, the hybrid. So they go in category 1. The others stay in category 2, and we try to progress small step, baby step.
Yeah,
and,
a lot of things to.
But yes, that's quite difficult to do. And but sorry.
Thank you.
I see. Thank you. I also see that Tom Hartley has the hand raised for a question or comment.
Yeah, hello. I'm at Soil Association in UK. It's really nice to see you all and hear from you all about seeds. I work a lot with seeds for our certifier. I guess firstly I want to say not using directly the new 848 reg just yet, or sort of incorporating those since we left the EU. I'm not familiar with the categories 1, 2 and 3. I will have to read up about those. It's very interesting. And yeah, just to feedback here. So yeah, we have arable cereals expert group for seed, one for grass and forage crops. And then we also have a seed potato working group. And this year, for the first time since about 10 or 12 years, we have a horticulture vegetable seed working group. And yeah, I guess on our general approach, we try to strike a balance between really trying to encourage organic seed companies, whether they are breeders themselves or resellers, to offer suitable varieties for organic growers. And when we have requests to use non-organic seed from growers, we do very much look at individual cases, and sometimes in great detail, disease resistances, early, late, the crop specifications, what is the end use? Is it for juicing? Is it for storage? Is it, so we do look in great detail at each individual case, especially when there's a high volume of seed, because that obviously has more impact. And yeah, it is complicated and takes time, but over time we hope we build expertise in our team so we're able to more quickly deal with those. As a result of that, so in the seed potato group, for example, there was a lack of uptake of organic seed potatoes, as well as seed breeders and suppliers and organic certifiers as members of that expert group. We then also brought in fresh produce packers and also buyers from large supermarkets and packers who are linked with the large scale retail customers, because they were always choosing varieties for the shelf for the customer. But we thought, hang on, customer in UK doesn't really care so much about the name of the variety, they'll more look at the quality or the size maybe. So yeah, we're trying to encourage more robust potato varieties through that, and that's been very successful. The buyer at a retail pack house is often the barrier to the uptake of more organic varieties. So very much hope to try and continue that, maybe with other crops. And yeah, I was just going to say, for Angela, for the last slide of your presentation, you asked about uptake of OrganicXseeds. So for arable, so cereal crops and grass and forage crops and mixtures. We see very good listings by seed companies and breeders of organic availability. Generally, it's kept up to date, but you know, we tell them when they're not doing so, and hopefully they react. Generally, they do. Similar to, I think Morten said, Morten Peterson, we have, you know, there's 2 or 3 seed companies that offer a lot of vegetable seeds, but they're in very small packets and they're not really for commercial. Partly they market at home growers, but it's good for the small scale market gardeners, you know, that we have. So that's quite good. But the barrier to other seed companies not listing on OrganicXseeds is that, one, it costs them extra money, which I read in 848, perhaps it should not do. I'll have to look at that. And they find it complicated, and, you know, administratively, it's too much work, putting it up, taking it down. So, you know, actually, and personally, and, you know, I'm really interested in seed and passionate about getting these varieties used. So quite often I will go to direct to seed breeders because I just find them online, and sometimes I have spoken with, you know, seed companies in Germany or in EU saying, you know, hey, can you get this seed over here? That's less practical now with phytosanitary requirements. But those are barriers. So I really like the sound of ECOSID and that Excel upload, the simplicity of that system. I think that's very appealing to a lot of people. And forgive me if I missed it, but I did want to ask Kaya about when the OrganicXseeds website might be relaunched, updated, and how soon we can find anything out about that. Thank you.
I can directly respond to the last question. We're still in the very beginning of the relaunch. We are planning to go live at the end of 2025, so end of next year. As a rough date.
If you can share anything useful with me, you know, as an organic certifier in confidence, then I would really like to see that, so I can, because I would like to encourage more seed companies, and also we ourselves don't use it to record derogations, but I think we should be using that functionality, and I trust you are making excellent improvements, so I'd like to be able to try and progress that.
Yeah, so also what you mentioned about the Excel file, we know that this is also a problem at the moment with the router database, that it's quite a lot of administrative work for the suppliers to upload their offers, to keep it up to date. So we're also very interested in how this works for ECOSID, because we also think about an Excel upload. We didn't have so much with it so far, because there always have been the problems in the system that didn't recognize some of the data in the Excel file. So it's not the easiest to implement, but this is something that we have in mind that we would like to offer in the future. And hopefully we can, yes.
Well, thank you.
Great. Freya, you have a comment to this or a question?
Yes, no, thank you very much for the feedback from UK. It's very interesting to hear. I wanted to give maybe one measure that was implemented this year in Germany in our vegetable working group, because we discussed about the category 1, and of course farmers, they fear that there could be a breakthrough of resistance or any case that there's not sufficient organic seed available, and therefore we implemented a task group or task force group. It consists of a representative of the competent authority, one representative of the control bodies, one representative of the organic seed supplier, like the seed association, and also from the farmer or the advisory body, and if as soon as a farmer reports via the database or to the administrator of the database that the supply of organic seed is lacking in the category 1 or important varieties are missing, this information is given through the task force, and then the task force will within 24 hours evaluate if this is valid, and then we will put this down to the category 2. But so far, this system was implemented in, I think, in March or April this year, and we did not use it yet.
Okay, thank you, Freya. Wait. I also see that Alexander Meyer has a hand raised.
Yeah, hi. I wanted to add, in Germany, we also implemented a so-called roadmap program, and Freya, you initiated this. I think it's a very good tool. I see similar steps in France that you evaluate until which year you will be able to supply sufficient seed of a specific type or subtype, and by this you can go on step by step and include all the stakeholders to see when it will be possible to go to category 1. And I think maybe, Angela, you can also think of a roadmap plan in Austria, so that you don't go that you go on a time length that what is possible to manage for all stakeholders.
Yeah, thank you. We already discussed with Freya that we might have another meeting on this and talk on possibilities how to improve our strategy. So
I see that there's also a lively discussion going on in the chat. I don't know if anyone wants to add something to this now, or maybe we can go to the next and the last presentation, and after we also, of course, have time to still discuss further. So it's again 𝐂𝐕𝐄𝐄𝐃 to present the European router database and plant new features.
Yes. One moment. Okay, so we already have been talking about the European router database. So now I want to present to you again the main functions and what are our challenges and our plans. So you've already seen this graph, and you've seen that we're using, for the OrganicXseeds databases, we're using the router database as a tool for suppliers to insert their offers. However, there's also other national databases that are not using OrganicXseeds. Each of those databases operates in a different language and uses a different system. And that is why the idea of the router database developed in the LiveSeed project as a system to connect all those different national databases. So it records the availability of organic plant reproductive material at European level. That means suppliers use it to place their offers, and then when they place the offers, they can decide in which countries they want to place it. So they can also place it at the same time in several different countries. The authorities have access to the router database as well to review suppliers and their offers, to communicate with them, to ask about additional information about an offer, about additional certification, for instance. And then they have the possibility of downloading an Excel file with all the offers that have been created in their country and uploaded in their national database. We also have the option of setting up an interface similar to the interface to OrganicXseeds. So if an authority is interested in that, please contact us. And we as 𝐀𝐈𝐕𝐄𝐄𝐃, we are also the administrator of this database, so we help with any technical question and to adapting the router database to also your national needs. So this is the landing page of the router database, and you can see that the router database in the LiveSeed project was also translated to all EU languages so that it can really be used by suppliers within all the Europe. And we also have here an FAQ. So if you have any question, you want to use the database as a supplier or as an authority, you can consult the FAQ or also contact us and we can help you out. So within the LiveSeed project, you should have received as an authority a login to the router database. If you somehow don't have it anymore, if the contact person changed, feel free to contact us and we can set up a new login for you. If you want to use the router database as a supplier, you can register here yourself. You need to indicate your organic certificate when you registered, but for both user groups, the use of the router database is free of charge. So this is now a few screenshots of the view of the authority. So the authority has the option of managing suppliers. That means when they click in the menu on supplier management, they see all the suppliers that want to post offers in their country. When they click on the name, they will find also the organic certificate and they have the possibility of accepting or rejecting the supplier. They can also communicate directly with other authorities, with suppliers, and authorities also have the possibility of sending an announcement to all suppliers listed in their country. If they, for instance, want to inform the suppliers about some regulation changes, about to update their offers, for instance, they can send an announcement directly to all suppliers here. Then in the offer management, you will find all the offers that have been created for your country. So here you find again the example that I also showed you before on OrganicXseeds. So by clicking on the question mark, you get more information about the offer. So you will also see which form, which quality does it have, whether it has any additional certification. We also have the breeder and breeding method. And also any supplementary information. So also if you as a national authority need more information that the supplier needs to fill out when they want to place an offer, we can set this up for you so that we ask more information in the offer form that the supplier then needs to fill out. Yes, so here we also have different availability statuses. So suppliers can place also offers that are currently not available, but that will be placed automatically available on a certain date. And then, for instance, red would mean that it's currently unavailable or and then here by clicking on the check or on the cross, this authority can accept or reject the offer. They can also reevaluate this. So for instance, if they see in the offer a mistake or they need to require further information on that offer, they can first reject the offer, write a rejection message. And then when the supplier has indicated this extra information or corrected the offer, they can then the authority can reevaluate the offer and then accept it, for instance. We have the possibility of asking the quantity in the offer form, and this can be mandatory or optional depending on the country. So if in your country the quantity is available, we can make it a mandatory field, and then we also have the option of displaying it in OrganicXseeds, so making this information publicly available or not. Because in communication with the different countries that are using the European router database, we noticed that there's different opinions on this, whether it should be publicly shown or not. And then there's also an offer tracking, so you can see all the changes that have been done in your country, when an offer was put to available, when it was put to non-available, any other changes that have been done. So for instance, here in this example, I incorrectly stated that it was a bulb and then changed it to tuber. So all of those changes you can track if you want to. And then with all those information, you can create an availability report that you can either use for reporting to the Commission, or then also use to upload in your national database. And here I just want to show you that we have also organic heterogeneous material and mixtures in the database, so that, for instance, in the case of mixtures, the components within the mixture can be listed here as well.
Kaya? I
Yes?
think that there is a hand raised. I don't know if it's about one of the slides, a question about one of the slides now. Maybe two.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I didn't see the raised hand. Go ahead.
I think you're still muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have two questions. I can wait till the end. It's no problem. Or should I proceed?
You can proceed. It's
okay.
It's
about when we're evaluating new offers, then the supplier has selected some species groups to put the offers in, and if they, for instance, have chosen a red salad or something, we often just accept the species groups suggested by the supplier because they know their seeds and their cultivars. But sometimes they tend to put the same seeds or the same plant material in several different species groups. And I think that, it's very difficult to evaluate these offers, because it makes a lot of confusion in OXS, because the same offers are displayed in several species groups. I think that's sometimes a problem. That's the one thing. And the other thing is, yesterday I helped a supplier with she had some problems to fulfill her offers, and she's offering the same plant material in several countries. How much information about the offer is automatically transferred, copied between the countries, and how much is it a specific offer for one country, or is it the same offer for several countries? Because it appeared that some things that we changed in the Danish, for Denmark, also changed in other countries, but other things did not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Morten. Regarding to your first question, so in this presentation, I didn't go over the species group, so the subdivision of species, because this is something very specific to the countries using OrganicXseeds, where you have the option of subdividing a species into the different species groups. And yes, so the supplier normally, when they place an offer, they can recommend a species group or also several species groups. And the denomination of those species group is really something up to the national authority of how they define it. And you as an authority then have the possibility of following the recommendation of the supplier, or also like saying, no, this variety should only appear in this species group and not in the other species group. Then there's also, so it's quite complex, there's also the option of defining whether a variety always appears in the same species group, or whether it depends on the offer in which species group it should appear. I think if you have a question regarding that, maybe we can also discuss this again in a separate meeting. Yeah, I hope that was clear. The second question, so if a supplier offers a material, they first have to indicate global information. That is which type, which of material it is, so plant material or seeds, which form it has, which status it has, so organic or in conversion, and in which certification it has. So this, the supplier only needs to indicate once. And then below, the supplier can select the countries they want to place that offer in. And then on country level, some more information might be asked. That includes the delivery information for that specific country. That can be also other information that you require in your country. It is also the availability. So the supplier can say, I have this offer available in Denmark, but I don't have it available in Germany, for instance. But we can also, again, talk about this, and I show you in a separate meeting of how the offer form looks like for suppliers. I hope that was clear. Or are there any follow-up questions, Martin?
No, it's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. I only have 2 slides left. So on the Witter database, we see similar challenges as in OrganicXseeds. So we need a clear differentiation between the different qualities of materials that can be offered in the database. We need to adapt our terminology, our database structure, and the selection options for that. We also want to offer a bigger flexibility to adapt the offer forms to species-specific requirements. So for apple, you might need to indicate different information than for wheat, for instance. And also more flexibility to present national requirements. And as well as adapting the data more to the Commission template for the availability reporting. And all of that, of course, keeping in mind to keep a user-friendly and practice-oriented database. One example I already mentioned before, for instance, uploading an Excel file with the offers that a supplier has. As we're also part of the LiveSeeding project, we also found some features there to overall increase the transparency of the organic market for plant reproductive material. These features include that we want to make more transparent of the categorization of species and subspecies in the different countries. So we want to generate an overview to compare which species are categorized how in the different countries. We also want to create a central repository for the yearly derogation reports that have to be made public anyways, according to the regulation. We want to include some more extended cultivar information so that the farmers can better assess which cultivars are suitable for their conditions, for their pedoclimatic conditions. And we're also interested in setting up more interfaces also to other national databases, not only the OrganicXseeds databases. With the overall objective, as I said, to create more transparency. That was my last slide. And now I can answer your questions.
Thank you, Kaya, once again for the second presentation on the router database. Are there any specific questions to this database? Is there something in the chat?
Maybe one thing that I can add is if you're not using the European router database yet, but you're interested in using it, feel free to contact me. We can set up a one-to-one meeting to explain you all the functions more in detail and also to see how we can already adapt the database more to your needs.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so I think everyone is a bit tired now after all this information and very lively discussion. Thank you, Kaya. Thank you also, Angela, and Miguel. I don't know if he's still there. And also Ilse for organizing this meeting. We still have some few final questions to you. We will use the Mentimeter. I think we have only some few questions. We want to receive some feedback and evaluation. And if possible, please use the link in the chat. It's a Mentimeter. And Kaya, she will display the questions and the answers in the presentation. So the first question will be, has this webinar been insightful for you? Yes, no, more or less.
Did everyone manage to access the Mentimeter link? Does it work?
If not, you can also give your answers in the chat, and then we will add them afterwards.
And if you use your phone, you could scan this QR code.
Perfect. It's just for us to.
When I click on the link, I'm in a. When I click on the link, I'm in a different. Yeah, now it works. Sorry.
So maybe I put the next.
Yes, response, but we are still waiting for like 20. We are more than 40 people. So maybe we wait a bit. There's one no. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe the person. Oh, I don't want to ask if it's only one person. Then otherwise, if you want to speak up and give your reason why it was not useful for you, but or what you would else I'm looking for. But I think we can proceed to the next question. It's just a very practical question from your point of view in your country. Maybe you can add first the country and then add the main issue and difficulties that are the most, let's say, the highest or the biggest bottleneck at the moment in your country. It's just an open question, but you don't need to fill it. If you feel that there's a open task in your country that should be worked through, it would be very interesting for us. Okay, there are no problems. Maybe we can proceed?
Yeah.
What new features would you like to see implemented in your database at national level? If you have, if you think about your country and could imagine that there are some features that you're lacking in your country? I mean, these are very sometimes very difficult questions, and to answer them within 1 minute, maybe it's a bit too tough.
It is. When writing an answer, you shift to the next slide, so it's impossible.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can also send it to us afterwards. Okay, thank you very much.
That's a good comment. I have to think about it. You can indeed send it to us afterwards as well.
Yeah. Also, if you have any struggles with your national database, it's not that we want to punish anyone, but we want to, produce some impact in this project. And of course, it would be great if we can identify some bottlenecks and maybe through the project facilitate that these bottlenecks are solved or at least a bit improved.
Shall I go to the next?
There's a question in the chat.
Oh, sorry, I cannot.
Does the function of the database banks take into account the fact that countries such as Germany and Spain are divided into regions? Maybe Kaja, could you just briefly answer this question, at least for Germany, because we have, I think, 17 different regions?
And OrganicXseeds, we can set up different regions. And then per region, for instance, decide, send the derogation request to a different institution. What is a bit difficult is if every region decides on a different categorization. That we don't do at the moment, and I wouldn't recommend to do it because it also for the farmer it gets very difficult. But yeah, there is the possibility of setting up different regions. But I don't know which, maybe Tabea can say something more to it. What the objective is to set up different regions.
Yes, I'm speaking as a competent authority, and I'm wondering, sometimes I need to get like some information about the farmers. Until now, I couldn't really kind of fill in the number of the farmer, and then find which derogations he has got and from where it is. So it's difficult.
You should be able to find. You should be able to find the farmers of your region.
But they have like different numbers. They have kind of different registration numbers. It's not the same number. Which like it's not the number they registered with us, like DE-B Y number.
I know
so
what
some
you
different
mean.
Number, and I don't know this number, and I don't have it, so I can't. If someone says, "Oh, there's a problem. This farmer used the derogation, and that's not appropriate," or this control body makes in so many derogations which are not okay, I can't really see where it is. And I was wondering if this function, like, is it improved in the relaunch?
So already now you can search for the farmers of your region, but of course it depends like by the number that the inspection body uploads. So the inspection body uploads the data of the farmer, and if they don't use the organic certification number, but another number, it's out of our hands. But we do want to avoid this upload function in the future and connect to traces as soon as it is user-friendly enough to use. And then it should be always searchable by the organic certification number. But this is unfortunately also not very coherently uploaded in traces at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, but that might be the problem, that the control body loads up any number, and it doesn't have anything to do. It seems to not having to do anything with the numbers. And I don't know the control body. I only know a random number, so I can't find out which farmer it is. If I want to see, there were kind of a strawberry derogation, which I have a question to, because there are some difficult subject. Right now, I'm not able to trace it down. No. But if traces, then it would work. Yeah.
If traces has the right data, that's at the moment still a problem.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. There we now have 20 responses. It's great. One further. Kaja, can you go back once again? Sorry, Ilse. If it's possible, could you add the country code to your comment? Because otherwise it will be very difficult for us afterwards to identify to which country it belongs to, because we want to try to contact maybe the competent authority or see if we can make any progress in the different issues for the different countries. If this is possible, you can manage
I'm
Was
not
that
sure. I
helpful?
think once you added the comment as a participant, you cannot, or
Okay.
you have to resubmit, I
Anyhow,
believe.
okay.
Yeah.
So we will have to deal with this information. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we will proceed to the next question. This is maybe for farmers or competent authorities. If you are until now not using the database, or if you already use it, you would be are interested or not interested. There's still some answers lacking. Maybe it's not valid for everyone because you're not using the database or not in the role of using this database. But some are using it, some are interested, and some are not interested. Of course, if you have a good system in place, maybe you don't need it, but of course, to ease the access of organic plant material from maybe bordering countries, it would be very interesting to use the database. There's one further comment in the chat from Roberto. In Spain, for example, organic seed are managed on national rules basis. So to me, it seems not too difficult to organize it. Region don't have competences on place crops into different categories. Yes, as we learned in Spain, there are different competent authorities in different regions, and they have different categories in each region, or they can have different categories in each region. To me, it was not that transparent how this process is developed and how the categories are developed. And I think there's also would be very good if the derogation report would be published. But well, this is not for the moment. We will get this information in future. I think this is the final question. Are there further questions? Okay. So what are the further issues you would like to discuss in the next webinar maybe or workshop? We are organizing several workshops within the LiveSeeding project, and please, if you have any ideas what we could discuss, or if you are looking for a presentation or inside information from a certain country, for instance, how about, I don't know, the southern part of Europe, how this looks like, the southeastern part, maybe Greece and Croatia, maybe to hear back from them, or other countries or other regions or the eastern regions, please put it here and we will try to organize a nice webinar.
Maybe I can stop sharing, but the Mentimeter will still be open for anyone that wants to add something.
Okay, thank you. I think we got some few minutes left. Are there any further comments? Everyone is still busy with the Mentimeter.
Maybe it's nice to show a few.
Yeah. So there are some interesting issues. Also, feel free to send us an email to Ilza, Kaya, or me. We are more or less the team of this web package on increasing the transparency. And so if you have any good idea or question to us, what could be a next webinar in the autumn, please, brainstorm a bit with us or give us a hint. Okay, there are some good answers or ideas. I will not read them out. Maybe one about you to receive reliable information on the current demand and supply of organic seed. This is also a task of the web package we are working on. We want to estimate supply and demand for, I think, 15 strategic crops in the different regions in Europe. We are at the moment starting to collect data, and if we have a lack, of course, we want to first collect the information on the area of a certain crop in the different countries. And I think we will send out a form or an Excel table maybe to each authority or relevant stakeholder in the different countries to collect this information, hopefully just before the summertime. To collect this information, and then on basis of this, on the seeding rate, also on an estimation we collected in the LiveSeed project, we will make a first draw of rough estimation of the supply and the use of non-organic seed and seed from how's it called, farm safe seed. But then, of course, we want to evaluate this data by the different experts, and therefore we will come back to you maybe a second time. This is an ongoing process, but yeah, we are working on this. And of course, we are always happy to receive detailed data also on the multiplication area for the different crops, for the different varieties, or maybe not the variety level, it's not that important, but also the multiplication area under organic conditions for the different crops, because then we can make some proof checks to see if our estimation is good. And I think we will definitely have a webinar on the, let's say, first results of our estimation. And I think we will evaluate the years 20, 21, 22, and 23. So we are looking for this data only. But I think you will receive an email from us about this. Okay. So thank you very much for this very useful information and ideas and this connection. I think it's very good to have this exchange between the different actors from the different countries. And yes, I hope you will have a nice day. Apart if someone has a note. No further comments. Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.